Good evening. Welcome to my kitchen table. I appreciate you all being here with me. Anticipate some cool baits, some dry humor. Anyway, I wanted to talk quickly about some of the things that I am pumped for with the upcoming season, fast approaching. I've got my new camera rolling. With what little I've messed with it, it just looks phenomenal. I cannot be more excited to use it, and hopefully I can even use it to document some stuff for the hunting season. Turkeys, ducks, pheasants, whatever the case may be. Anyway, I digress. I'm going to jump right in. I've got several baits here in front of me, and I anticipate doing more than one of these tackle talks for the spring, especially considering tomorrow is supposed to snow, so there's a good chance that I'll probably just end up doing one tomorrow as well, because why not? Snow makes me want to think about spring. Spring makes me think about muskies, and since I can't fish right now, we'll think about baits. Anyway, diving right in. You've seen it before, you'll probably see it again this season. The first one that I'm going to mention here, if the camera will focus, come on, do it. Do it. All right, perfect. This is the Lee Lures 5.5 Death Pause Minnow. I'm really pumped for the 5.5 Death Pause Minnow. I think it's going to fill a void for me that I have been neglecting, that I haven't been able to fill for a while. It's a very small profile, but not as small as some of the bass baits out there, which makes me really excited to use it. And again, it's got that hang time that's really critical for the springtime and springtime fishing. Obviously, I'm gonna have to be pretty careful with it around the timber, as anyone who knows these baits, they're not cheap, and you know, but that price comes with the guarantee that they suspend and that they're tested and do all the things. So to me, that's worth it. I would rather get out there and have a bait perform and do exactly what it's supposed to do and spend the extra money to not have to hassle with that or deal with it than to worry about it not performing while I'm on the water. I messed with that last year if you watched my pre-spawn video, and it was really annoying to try and get those JBOs and those slammers to wait out and to do what I wanted them to do. So I'm cutting the BS this year. I'm just going with the Death Pause Minnow. All right. In keeping line with the Twitch program, we're going from 5.5 inches to 10, so we're going straight to the Ridge. This is Matt's new model of the 10-inch. He's got a little bit of scoop. You can kind of see it there actually with the camera. Good job, new camera. Doing wonderful things, doing the Lord's work here. But you can kind of see that scoop where he's kind of scooped out some of that wood, taken away some of it in order to just reduce the weight, give it a little bit more streamlined action. And then the biggest change for this year, come on camera, you got it. You got it. See, this is why we pay the big bucks for the good cameras. So you can see that right there. You have this little guy, this little you know, buffer, or I don't know what you'd want to call that. Just the little cushion there. So that way the bill breakage is much less likely to happen. You've got a little bit of backbone there in order to take the brunt of any sort of impact, whether it be wood or rocks, or in my case last year, a fish slapping your bait up against the side of Brian Scaife's boat. Either way, those little backbones are going to be absolutely critical to keeping your baits intact longer, fishing on the water longer without having to mess with the BS. So really excited to use those. Again, I never had an issue with the original lips until last year. One of them I smoked a tree with. No one's fault. Certainly not Matt's. And the other one, fish slapped it up against the side of Brian's boat after I caught it. If you guys saw that footage, I probably included it here, but if you saw that footage, that fish was not going to be tamed. But again, you know, the golden perch has just been absolute money for me over the last couple of years. Just can't beat it. It's put some really serious fish in the boat for me, so really excited to use it. Really pumped to get out there and start chasing some skis with the new models. Okay, next one. This is going to be kind of a weird one that not a lot of people have access to, just because I know that the guy who makes them has not made a ton. This is a custom Ryan Painter sucker swim bait. The dude does some serious work. I am really excited to throw this. Not necessarily in the pre-spawn, maybe the post-spawn. I'm not really sure when I want to use it. Probably in any situation that I would use like a shallow swim dog for, or whatever the case may be. But I'm really pumped to throw this guy. I mean, just look at that thing. It's just such a cool plastic. It got the red and the gold and the black. I mean, that thing just looks like it's gonna get chewed. And the profile is perfect. I mean, this thing's like 7.5, 8 inches long. It's got this huge paddle tail that is just gonna put off a ton of water. I could not be more pumped to throw this thing in the spring. I know that his stock is limited, but if I could buy more now, I would, because I know this thing's gonna slay. My only reservation, I guess, with it is the plastic is very soft. It's very supple, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you get one squirrely fish and this thing is gonna be toast. So that's just part of the gamble with plastics. That is not a critique on the bait maker. This thing is gonna crush. I know that it will. It just looks too good not to. So figured I'd share that one with you guys. Kind of a cool little bait that I didn't really anticipate having, but I'm really glad that I do. All right, moving on to some bucktail action. Okay, so as some of you saw, I used the grenade last year in some open water. It performed pretty well. I got a couple dinners out of it and a 45-inch musky. So again, not a terrible thing. So this is the new mini grenade, I think is what Brad Hoppy's calling this. I really like the smaller profile. The normal grenade is great, don't get me wrong, and it works fine. But I feel like with my Iowa and Wisconsin waters, sometimes that profile's cutting me off a fish. Now that's not to say that big baits don't catch fish, but again, the amount of fish that are eating a 11 or 13-inch size bait profile, I don't remember what the originals are. This one is significantly smaller, and the profile is smaller too. I feel like just with those profiles, maybe the Iowa Wisco fish are a little different. Like the Minnesota ones clearly have no issues eating big baits. So, but I think that this profile here, this 9 to 11-inch profile, is going to be absolutely perfect for the Wisco and Iowa waters that I fish. If I start making it over to Minnesota more, well, good news is I've already got a regular grenade that I know works, and it's proven on an absolute monster of a fish from that open water period. So probably the most gorgeous natural fish I've ever caught in my life. I mean, the stripes on that thing were just ridiculous, just stupid. Sometimes that clear Wisco water just does some really cool things to those fish. Last but not least, and the piece de resistance, if you will. I don't know, I'm not French, but some of the Canadian guys I talk to are. The last one is, speaking of Canadians, my Canadian connections are coming through once again this winter. The final one that I'm really excited for is another kind of blade with no name-esque lure. It's struggling to focus here, but I mean just kind of a natural blue walleye. We've got a cat entering the frame. Sorry, Ace. Alright, kind of a natural blue walleye vibe to it with a dangle blade. Again, something about that dangle, something about the extra weight of the Dadsons is just really special. I don't know what it is, but they have some serious mojo. I'm sure that I overlaid clips of the blade with no name with this one and some of the fish that kicked out for me this fall. But again, could not be more pumped to throw this kind of natural color in this same kind of blade with no name style in the Wisco waters that I frequent, as well as some of the Iowa ones. I think this thing is just gonna wreck. Anyway, that's all I've got for you guys tonight. I really appreciate you watching. Some of the stumbling, some of those things I'm gonna have to edit down and decide what I want to put in or not put in. I could not be more pumped for the season. There are some big fish to be caught. I could not be more pumped to chase them. Pre-spawn is around the corner. I've got some new ideas. I've got some things that I really want to try and really want to do. Anyway, as always, I appreciate you all sticking with me. I hope that you enjoyed the tackle talks. Please let me do if you know, or please let me know if you do. There will be more on the way, at least one more, if not two. And then I've got another thing in the works that I'm trying to figure out with some other anglers. But outside of that, that's kind of what I've got planned so far. As always, thank you all for watching. Good luck this season, and I'll catch you in the next one.